Hello, hello. How are we today? Let me get our little stream set up, and then this is a bit of a makeshift stream. I wasn't planning to actually stream today, so yeah, we're gonna do a quick one, and yeah, I suppose we have like 45 minutes to go, so all good, all guns ablaze, ready for the free hit. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll start doing my optimal free hit team now, just so you guys can kind of see if you are on a free hit. I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at doing, and hopefully you guys agree with a lot of the picks. But I'll show you guys sort of what I'm looking for, and we can maybe talk through some of the picks. I've done this a few times this week now, so I know like who I'm going for. But yeah, if you guys want to leave some questions in the comments there, feel free. Feel free. I'll try to answer as many as I can today. I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of questions before the deadline, and hopefully I'm here to help is essentially what I'm here to do. So yeah, let me know. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Any Savinho news, bro? K7, haven't heard anything yet on Savinho, but you never know with Pep. You never know with Pep. I'm not going to sit here and say I can read his mind. I wish I could. Every time I'm waiting for a Man City lineup, but yeah, I can't say I have any Savinho news, but I do think he is a very interesting pick, especially on free hit this week. Tal Hassan says captaincy Wood versus Kluivert. I would captain Wood if I had him. But yeah, Kluivert in a close second is what I would say. So let me actually stick Wood into this free hit team. Hopefully you guys can actually see this. Let me just make sure that the cropping is okay for this. Yeah, you can't really see everything, so let me go like this and then to the side a bit, and we'll do one of these zoom in. Sorry, this is a very makeshift stream, so I'm kind of only getting stuff organized now. How's that look? Yeah, that look okay, guys? Hope it looks okay for you. Currency, where in Ireland are you from? I'm from Dundalk, but I'm in Ireland right now. I'm in Ballybunion down in Kerry, so visiting my girlfriend and her family, and a few of us down in Ireland in Kerry for the weekend to celebrate St. Patrick's weekend. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a makeshift deadline today because I'm with all my friends here, and it just so happened we're back from the beach there, and I kind of rushed home. I said, everyone's having a shower, I have time to hop on a deadline stream and help you guys, answer some of your questions. So I'll show you my free hit team and sort of what I'm looking at. It would be something like this. But yeah, I'll leave that on the screen for now, and let me just get your chat up so I can, help you guys with that. But yeah, I think that looks good on your screens there. But yeah, Currency, I'm from Dundalk, so I don't know if you heard, but I was on FPL Raptors FPL Therapy podcast on Monday there. It got released on Tuesday, and essentially, I was wearing my Dundalk FC jersey, one of the classics. I think it's the 2000 home jersey. So I would have been 2 years old at the time that they were playing in that kit. But it's funny enough, my dad actually worked in the Harp factory in Dundalk back in the day. And Harp is the sponsor of that Dundalk kit. So a lot of sentimental value attached to that jersey. And I just think it looks class as well. Sydney Machuki says, what transfers are you making? I've made my transfer actually. I'll show you what I did, in fact, now that you asked. So hopefully you can see this. Let me just confirm that you can. Yeah, all good. So I went for Evanilson. I did Gakpo to Evanilson, and I had the option to go for Chris Wood. And, I was just kind of sitting there and I ran all the stats. I looked at, all the data. I also like to look at the bookies data as well. And the bookies really fancy, first of all, Bournemouth to score, but also they really fancy Evanilson to be involved in one of those goals. So I like the look of that, and he's such a differential pick. Like, when you look at Wood, his ownership is nearly 50%. And to be honest, I wish I had him, and I would captain him if I did get him in. But this transfer I made, Evanilson in, it's actually not just for this game week. It's for 2 game weeks, because I'm going to wildcard in game week 31. So I thought, who has the best fixtures over the next 2 game weeks? Who do I think is going to score the most points over the next 2? And they both play Ipswich. So do Wood and Evanilson. But Wood plays Ipswich away and Evanilson plays Ipswich at home next game week. And then Wood also plays Man United at home next week, and Evanilson plays Brentford at home this week. So I just fancy Evanilson's fixture over Wood's. And I also just think Bournemouth score more goals than Nottingham Forest. Now, I may eat my words and see, Wood just bang in a load of goals against Ipswich this weekend, and I'd be devastated. But hopefully Evanilson will end up doing the same the next weekend, so we'll see how it goes. Let me get back to your questions, though, guys. ATL's Arm says, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, though. Yeah, I mean, he's a good shout. I just think there's other defences more likely to get a clean sheet this game week. Kernsey, I'm a dub. Oh, good man yourself. Whereabouts in Dublin are you from? And how are you getting on this season? Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer. Sydney again. If you had AM chip, when would you play it? So personally, I would play it game week 30. Well, it depends what other chips you have. Like if you have all your chips left, you'd probably want to play assistant manager from 36 to 38 towards the end of the season. But at the same time, if you don't have all your chips left, say you're missing a wild card or a free hit, the best chip, the best time to use your assistant manager chip, if no other chips were involved in the thought process, would be from 31 to 33. Because that way you get the 32 double and the 33 double, and your manager gets 5 game weeks, whoever you end up going for there. So next up is Larry Jones. He goes, how's it going, Stephen? How's it going, Larry? Would you go Fernandez or a Forest mid like Gibbs White or Elanga? I think if you can afford, if money isn't an issue, then I would go Fernandez this game week. I think he's one of the favourites to get a return this game week. But if I was picking between Gibbs White and Elanga, I like Elanga just for his... I mean, they both have very, very similar non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90. Elanga's 0.38 and Gibbs White is 0.36, or it may be the other way around. Either way, there's nothing in the difference. And then you just look at the fact that, Elanga's on a lot of the set pieces and what else? He's cheaper. So yeah, I like Elanga if you are deciding between the Forest mids, but I'd go Fernandez if money isn't an issue. And then next question, Ian Arsify goes, bookies back and Everton clean sheet the most. Oh, I didn't realise. Okay, I thought it was Arsenal. I thought Arsenal had the highest clean sheet, but I'm sure, Everton, they're always going to have a high clean sheet odds from the bookies because, they are a solid defence and they're playing against West Ham at home, so. K7 goes, would you captain Evanilson? Yeah, I would. Actually, to be honest, it's between Evanilson and Kluivert for me, and just the fact that Kluivert's a midfielder, so he gets more points for goals and he's on penalties, just edges it in Kluivert's favour even, I should say. But I still like Evanilson as a pick, and that's why I transferred him in. Zach McParlin goes, hi mate, first off, love the content. Really appreciate it, Zach. Cheers for that. Then the next one is, secondly, Wood or Kluivert captain? Yeah, slightly leaning Kluivert. Not too sure though. So it is a close one. It is a close one. What I say is, if I had Wood, I'd want to captain him. But the argument for Kluivert, and I can see why you're leaning that way, for me, the way I think of it, if I was to justify the Kluivert captaincy, would be the fact that, Kluivert is a midfielder, so he gets, like I said, more points for goals, and he has, the option of a clean sheet point. They're both on penalties. And the other thing is, if you look at all the bookies odds, all the projected points this game week, projected goals especially, Bournemouth are projected to score a lot of goals this game week against a Brentford defence who is, shaky at the best of times. So you just expect the team that's going to score more goals, you're going to want to captain the player from that team. At the same time, to play devil's advocate in Wood's favour, I would say whenever Nottingham Forest score, he's usually involved to some capacity. So it's all about finding the right balance there. But yeah, I would say if you can justify the pick, whatever way you want to do it, maybe I'm saying, the way I've been approaching it is by saying, if I had Wood, I would captain him. But maybe that's just me having FOMO, and I'm like, I would captain him if I had him. But at the same time, I could definitely justify a Kluivert captain this game week. I just think Wood is probably a safer bet, considering he's been so consistent all season. But if you want to switch it up, now's the game week to do it, because, Salah isn't playing, so anything goes really. And, Palmer's not really on it. So other than those two, obviously if you have Haaland, I'd captain him. But yeah, between Wood and Kluivert, tough one, but I'd edge it in Wood's favour for his safety, and I'd say Kluivert has a higher ceiling. So maybe go for Kluivert there. I'm captaining Kluivert, and I'm very happy to do so. Zach, 138k overall. Not sure if that changes your opinion at all, lol. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, are you happy to be 138k? Like, are you saying, oh, I want to keep my rank there? Or are you saying you're trying to push into the top 100? You know, maybe it's one of those things where like just owning Kluivert at all is a bit of a differential. So you wouldn't need to captain him necessarily. But I'd imagine you're putting your rank there because you may want to, 138k, while it is a good rank and it's actually higher, you're in a better spot than where I am currently. At the same time, you're probably looking at that thinking, I want to break into that top 100, and a captaincy on Kluivert, a little bit of a differential there, could shoot you up the ranks. So yeah, I'm sort of talking you into a Kluivert captaincy. The more and more I talk about it, I'm like, I've been saying Wood all week, but maybe Kluivert is the pick, just with the fact that Bournemouth are projected to score more goals, and Kluivert is going to get more points as a midfielder if he returns, and he has the clean sheet potential. They're both on penalties. Yeah, I would say Kluivert maybe. I've talked myself into it. Currency says Palmerstown. Oh, nice. Good spot, man. And not going bad. 1,860 points. Not going bad at all, so it isn't. K7 goes, what's the best budget midfielder sorry, I can't fucking speak today. What's the best budget midfielder punt for 2 weeks? Already own Kluivert? That is a great question. I would say for 2 weeks, you'd almost just go for another Bournemouth mid like Semenyo. That would be my answer to that. Other than that, if you don't want to double up, because you said you already own, oh Jesus, some racer boys. I don't know if you hear that car zooming by. Other than if you don't want to double up on Bournemouth mids, like you said, you already have Kluivert. I would go Semenyo, but if you don't want to, I would look at either a Forest mid or a Wolves mid, just to really spice it up. So I would say something like, if you were going for a Forest mid, I already discussed the difference between Elanga and Gibbs White. I prefer Elanga just ever so slightly. And if you're going for a Wolves mid, it's between Bellegarde and Munetsi. Both really interesting picks. Yeah, Munetsi looks like a good option for sure. But you could go either way there. If it's only a 2-week punt, you might as well have some fun with it, Offside footy, good to see you again. Yeah, good to see you, man. Always love your comments on my videos. You say, hey mate, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too. I am punting on Munetsi. Okay, I was just talking about him there. Punting on Munetsi for GameWeek 29-30. Do you think Forest Ipswich will be a 1-1 draw similar to recent FA Cup match? Yeah, I think you're on the ball there. I think it will be a low-scoring affair. And I honestly do think that Ipswich could score against Forest. I know Forest have been such a solid defence over the course of the season. But we've also seen that, they can concede against, teams that maybe you wouldn't expect them to concede against as well. They'll keep a clean sheet against Liverpool, but we can see I can't remember, they conceded 5 goals. Was it against Bournemouth or something? Not that Bournemouth are a bad team by any means, definitely not a bad attack. But to answer your question, yeah, if it's a 2-week punt, then a midfielder, Munetsi for GameWeek 29-30 looks very interesting. So yeah, I like that punt. Gonçalo Pereira says, hey mate, start Robinson or Greaves? Greaves plays, who does Greaves play? Does he play Forest? Yeah, I would say, that's a tough one. I would say Robinson, just for the fact that, he's more attacking. He's got the most assists of any defender in the league this season. And yeah, Spurs, on their day, they didn't score against AZ Alkmaar when they had their full squad out. And they got 2, the 2 goals they scored against Bournemouth, if you watched the game, one of them was a penalty and one of them was Pap Sarr just crossing the ball in and it ended up going in the net. He mishit a cross. So, to be honest, mate, I'd start Robinson. Zach McParland, yeah, you've honestly described exactly my thought process in leaning towards Kluivert, looking to push into the top 100k. Think I'll lock it in. Man, I'm happy that I convinced you and we can go through this Kluivert captaincy together, man. Because, yeah, the more I talked about it, the more I convinced myself that it was the right move. So, yeah, I'm glad you're with me there on this ride. And listen, it's at the end of the day, it's a blank game week and Fantasy Premier League is a game, and you might as well have a bit of fun with it. So if you want to go for the riskier pick, I'm also kind of saying this as I'm justifying why I went for Evanilson over Wood, because for me Wood would have been the safer pick for sure. But like, yeah, I just said I'd go for Evanilson because it's a 2-week punt and I want to spice it up a bit. Oh, Sohail, nice one, man. Cheers for the super. That's a nice little treat over the weekend. Really appreciate it, man. That's huge. I love all your comments on my videos and on Twitter. So good to see you. Good to see you again. I'll answer your question first, just because you sent that in before I get back to everyone else's. So let me give this one a bit of thought. You've sent your team in. Free hit 29. Okay. Onana, Aitnuri, Dallo, Milenkovic, and then Mbumo, Bruno, Weiss, Gibbs White, Kluivert. Very nice. Haaland, Evanilson, Wood. Oh man, I love it. I love it. Then you've got triple Arsenal on the bench: Raya, Odegaard, Gabriel, and then Gvardiol. What do you think? Leicester blanking for me. Yeah, I do like. You know what? I really like that team because I'm seeing a lot of free hit teams. And while I'm talking about it, let me just pull mine up very quickly so you can kind of see what I thought would be a good free hit. But I like how you've gone for the double Man United defense. I haven't seen a lot of people do that. And it could be a nice little differential. And while I was talking there, I don't know when you joined into the stream, Sohail, but I was talking about Ipswich and how I think Ipswich could even grab a goal against Forest. And you look at my team, my draft for free hit, and I've actually got double Forest's defence. So, yeah, I do think you're probably on a good path there with Leicester blanking, and the double up on United could be really nice. At the same time, maybe if I was to give you some sort of suggestion, I would say maybe go for, like, if you want to double up on the United defence, go for it. If you're not too sure about that, maybe Onana to Sells, or Dallo to Milenkovic or Nico Williams, just to cover what looks like a slightly likely Forest clean sheet. But if you don't fancy that, no problem at all. It's a free hit, so you might as well go for the high upside pick. Just going through the rest of your team though. Oh, sorry, you already have Milenkovic, so you have a Forest defender in there. So I'm chatting shite. Yeah, don't mind me. Don't mind me. I really like that defense. Really like it, man. Then I like the Mbumo pick. As you can see, I've gone for him. I've also gone for Bruno and Kluivert. The only difference in our midfield is that you've gone for Gibbs White. Instead of Evanilson up top, I've got Semenyo in the midfield. But I really like Evanilson, and I've just actually transferred it into my team as well. So I'm sitting here hoping that you pick him on your free hit and he does well for you. And then Haaland and Wood. Listen, man, I think you've nailed it there. Yeah, I really think you've nailed it. And I just want to say thanks again for the super chat, because that's really kind of you. That made my day. Okay, let me get back to the rest of your questions, guys. So Caffeine says, what would you call an ideal free hit team for this game week? Yeah, the one I have up, I suppose, is what I'm suggesting people could go for. I mean, there's so many different routes that you could go down. The things I don't like about my team is the midfield. I'm not so sure on the Semenyo pick. That's all I'll say. You know, maybe I have so much money in the bank with this team. I could go for like Foden. I could go for a Gibbs White. I could go for a Wolves midfielder, but I just back Bournemouth to score a lot of goals here. Khadiza Yasmin says, I'm going to do Milenkovic and Wood and have 6.6 for a defender. Who should I get? I already have Kluivert and Mbumo. So you have 6.6 for a defender. Khadiza, if you're still here, I'd love to reply. Like, if you could follow up, let me know. Like, are you free hitting this game week? Do you want a defender just for this game week, or like for the foreseeable few game weeks ahead? Because that will change my answer slightly. I suppose I'll answer that ahead of time. If you're just free hitting this game week, I really like the Aitnuri pick. I know he's much cheaper than 6.6 million, but I do back a Wolves clean sheet against Southampton here. Or if you want to invest a bit more, Gvardiol is always a good shout. I know Brighton are in good form, but Gvardiol can always get an attack in return. Alternatively, Dallo, a Man United midfielder. And then if you're looking for something longer term, I still think Aitnuri is a good pick. Or maybe someone like Kirkes with Bournemouth's upcoming fixtures. So I hope that answers your question, Khadiza. Next up, Aaron Emberson. Do you think Dango out for a hit is worth? I've actually heard this question asked a few times this game week, and it's a really tricky one. I think it depends on the rest of your team, but in all honesty, I think, yeah, in most cases, Dango out for a hit could be worth it this game week. Ben North, Evanilson, Bowen, and Nico Williams, or Raul, Kluivert, and Milenkovic. I'd go for Raul, Kluivert, and Milenkovic. Just that rings such a good bell, considering like Kluivert is a genuine captaincy shout this game week. I've got Raul in my free hit team, and I love him there. I think he's a great pick this game week that people are sleeping on. And then Milenkovic is also in my free hit team. All three of those players are actually, and the other three aren't. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, the second one of Raul, Kluivert, and Milenkovic. Really like that one, Ben. Please guide ID 194. Okay, I'm not gonna. I have to answer all these other questions, Geeta. Sorry. So if you could just maybe summarize your question, because I want to get through everyone's before I do before the deadline. So if you just ask a question below, I'll try to get to you. Khadiza coming back with, I'm going to do Milenkovic and Wood. You asked the same one again, sorry. So I already answered your question. Ben again, also, is it worth going from a -8 to a -12 to not play Charlie Taylor? To be honest, I would never suggest going up to a -12, but at this stage, if you're playing Charlie Taylor, like, you would back a replacement to outscore that -4, you know, and yeah, it's just... Yeah, I actually would. To answer your question, Ben, I think that is a move worth making. So, Hale, Leicester haven't scored at home since game week 15. Fucking hell. Thanks, mate. Love the content. I love your comments on all my videos, man. So keep it up. Yeah, that's the sort of insight I love to hear from you guys, is when you come back with the stats to back up, you know, the sort of narrative that I have in my head. Leicester haven't scored at home since game week 15 is mad. Like, yeah, I can see why the double Man United defense makes sense there. So yeah, I love that pick. In fact, you know, you're tempting me to change my team now and stick. You know, I'm gonna take your word, Sohail, and I'm gonna actually get Dallo in, and we're gonna start him. We're gonna start him for Gvardiol, because I've kind of been looking at Gvardiol in my team there, and like, I just wasn't convinced by you know, Man City getting a clean sheet. I just wasn't convinced. So yeah, you've made me change my mind. You've talked me into that. The fact that Leicester haven't scored at home in like 10 game weeks, over 10 game weeks, is crazy. So yeah, get a Man United defender in that free hit team. Okay, Jan Arsify says Evanilson or Semenyo. Yeah, I back Evanilson. I know he'll probably get less minutes than Semenyo, but I just think he's playing up top. He's in form. Semenyo is not in form, and he's not playing up top. I know there are different positions in FPL as well, but yeah, I just have a feeling that Evanilson would be a better pick. I know he's not in my free hit team, but that's because I really, really wanted a Fulham player, attacking player for this game week to go against that Spurs defense, because Spurs defense just has all those injuries. It's so leaky. Yeah, I think getting a Fulham attacker was like top priority for my free hit, so I just wasn't able to fit Evanilson in next to Wood, Haaland, and Raul. But I still think he's a great pick. 1, 2, 3. Would you rather take a -16 hit or have no free hit for game week 34? I think a -16 is a bit much. Yeah, I'd look into free hitting at that stage, and then just planning the rest of your transfers to figure out that game week 34. Like, striking a balance between maybe not having an insane amount, like a full team of players doubling in 33, and just having a balance of players that double in 33 and players that play in 34, because a -16 hit is really going to hurt you. Mohammed says, Semenyo has been bad for weeks now. 100% agree. 100% agree. Yeah, he's been really out of form. So, yeah, he's in this team just because I really wanted another Bournemouth mid, and I couldn't fit in Evanilson, like I said, because those top three are locked in for me. So I just put a Semenyo in, but I agree, he's not been in the best of form. Khadiza, I'm not free hitting. I need a midfielder. So you need a midfielder. Oh, sorry, you said defender in the last one. Yeah, so you need a midfielder for 6.6. Yeah, I've kind of suggested, you know, you can either go for like a Bournemouth midfielder, like Kluivert, Semenyo. You can go for a Forest midfielder, like a Langa or even Gibbs White, or a Wolves midfielder, like Munetzi or Bellegarde. So I would say Kluivert is my favourite of all those picks. But you already have Kluivert, don't you? And Mbumo. So yeah, maybe I'd go for one of the Forest guys. Go for a Langa, or if you want one of the Wolves players, I really like Munetzi. Hopefully that answers your question. Sydney Machuki, Wood or Bruno captain? Ooh, you know, you look at that Bruno hat-trick midweek and you say, I want to captain him. And he obviously has the potential to go big with the fact that he gets more points from the clean sheet and from the goals that he scores compared to Wood, who's playing as a forward. But I just think Wood is so consistent, so I'd lean in his favour. Aaron Emerson, thanks. No problem at all, man. Glad to have you here. Let's keep flying through these questions, okay? A Gamer Time says, Bruno or Marmouche? or Haaland or Elanga. If I do Bruno, okay, so Bruno and Marmoush or Haaland and Elanga. Ooh, I would say Haaland and Elanga. Let me read the rest of your question though. If I do Bruno, I can easily get Gakpo in for Wissa next game week. Really need the help. Marmoush starts too. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if it's worth going for that off the back of the fact that you want to get Gakpo in, just because, you know, will Gakpo get all those minutes? Will he be straight back into the team in form? We don't know. Whereas Haaland, you know, and Elanga, they're two really good picks this game week. I'm just not convinced by Marmoush personally, is why I'm leaning towards the Haaland-Elanga pick. FPL Hawk, hello kind sir, hello to you too. Tristan Kiros, I have a benching headache. Robinson, Neto, Dango, João Pedro, one to bench. Yeah, I'd bench Neto in that case. Yeah, I don't think Chelsea will score too many goals against Arsenal. I know Dango's a bit of a minutes risk, but yeah, I'd bench Neto there. Ben North again. After doing the -12 for Charlie Taylor, I now have 4.8 for a defender. Who would you recommend? I have Milenkovic, Gabriel, Kirkez with Munoz on the bench. Oh, I think Aït-Nouri would fit perfectly into that team. I think you can afford him, if I'm not mistaken. 4.8 mil. Oh, it's too good to be true, Ben. Yeah, I like Aït-Nouri for there. I really do. And the rest of your defense looks solid. So you can start Milenkovic, Gabriel, and Aït-Nouri this game week, and you'll be sorted. Kirkez and Munoz on the bench. Nice one. Giovanni de Benedetti going out for Dango. Max 6 million for -8 or keep him. Yeah, I do think getting rid of Dango makes sense this game week. Maybe if you just go straight for like Semenyo, you could do, you know. Yeah, you could fit Semenyo in if you want to do a straight swap. Or if you want to go elsewhere, I think Elanga for Forest. Or if you want to go for a Wolves mid, I think Munetzi is a good shout. A gamer time, Evanilson or Gakpo for game week 30? Yeah, I'd go for Evanilson. They play Ipswich at home, which is really nice. Inside tactics, Kluivert, Wood or Bruno for captain? I like Kluivert. I talked about it earlier in the stream, but I like Kluivert a lot. Tanuj Aurora, do you think I should play Flecken or Verbruggen in goalkeeper? So Flecken or Verbruggen? Let me just check. Yeah, I would say it's a tough one. I think Bournemouth to score. I actually think Bournemouth are more likely to score than Man City, so I'd go for Verbruggen. I'm just trying to fly through these questions now, guys. So BKG goes Kluivert, my captain this week. No Haaland, own Wood though. Yeah, nice. Kluivert captain, really like it. Sanjay Patel, Trent, Gakpo, Isak to Haaland, Evanilson and Milenkovic for free. Oh, very nice. Really like those transfers. Or you could do Trent, Gakpo, Isak, Palmer to Milenkovic, Wood, Haaland and Bruno for -4. Yeah, to be honest, I don't actually think you need to do that -4. I know it'd be really nice to get Bruno in this game week, but I'm not a huge fan of taking hits when it's not absolutely necessary. And I really like those first 3 transfers that you mentioned. Aidan Patel, Haaland, Elanga and Aït-Nouri or Wood, Bruno and Gvardiol. Oh, it has to be Haaland, Elanga and Aït-Nouri for me. I really like that. Ben Fuentes says, morning Gallagher. Morning to you too, Ben. Currently feeling 10 without a goalkeeper. That's completely fine. Or you could say take a hit for Sells or field an attacking defender in for Trent. Defender starting are Kirkez, Gabriel, Robinson. Yeah, not a bad defense at all. I do think taking a hit for Sells does make sense this game week. Yeah, I do. I actually quite like that. Depending on who your keeper is, like if you have like Alisson and he plays Everton next game week at home, wouldn't be too confident about, you know, obviously Ipswich have good fixtures in the next 2. They play Man United at home next as well, but yeah, I think if you have like a keeper that you're not sure you want for the upcoming fixtures too, Sells right now for a -4 does make sense, Ben. FPL Hawk, Leicester has not scored at home since a 2-2 draw against Brighton in game week 15. Mad. Leicester goal difference in their last 8 games is 2-18, having only scored in 1 game in their last 8 to win against Spurs. That's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. I think, yeah, looking at that Man United clean sheet is looking better and better. Rainey says, finger crossed for Evanilson over Wood. Yes, indeed. Me too. I've got my fingers crossed for sure. All my fingers and my toes. Leet Crew says, hey man, hope you're good. 1 week punt on a defender. Mazraoui, Jake O'Brien, Wan-Bissaka. Or no born template, Nottingham or Wolves, thanks. Oh, love it. I love the way you're thinking, to be honest, yeah. I think I like the Mazraoui pick. I've just kind of, if you look at one of the chats from FPL Hawk 2 above you, we're just talking about how Leicester hasn't scored at home since 2-2 draw against Brighton in game week 15. So I do agree it's a spicier pick than Nottingham or Wolves defenders. Not a lot of people are looking at Man United, but the more I've talked about it with you guys on this stream, the more I've realised, yeah, I think Man United could be in for a clean sheet here. So, love it. Next question, Tristan Kuros. Good luck, appreciate the live. Listen, it was a last minute live. I didn't actually plan to do this live stream whatsoever, but it just so happened that I had an hour free in the day. I'm on like my holidays now, so I just said, we just got back from the beach and all my friends are like getting showered and stuff. I'm straight from the beach. I haven't showered or anything. I just whacked on the live stream and said, let's do this. So I'm glad that you guys are liking it. Good to hear. It's not all for nothing. Michael Murphy goes, Trent and Bumo and Isak to Nico Williams, Elanga and Haaland for a -4. Or I like the idea of keeping Palmer for the Spurs game next week and the long-term fixtures. Yeah, I do like the idea of that too. What I will say is I don't like getting rid of Mbumo. So like, is there a way maybe you can not get Haaland in this game week? I know it sounds absurd and a lot of people are doing it, but sometimes it's good, Michael, to, like, for myself, I'm trying not to get too caught up in the whole needing Haaland situation. So yeah, I haven't gone for Haaland and I'm happy to own, I would be happy to own Mbumo. On the flip side of that, I do think Trent is a definite sell. Isak, another one. Like, do you really want to sell Isak if you're going to lose all that money from him? So I would rethink the transfer there. Maybe, yeah, let me know if you have any other plan besides that. But if you're set on that, like you're saying Nico Williams, Elanga and Haaland, those are three brilliant buys this game week. Don't get me wrong. I think those are three definite buys this game week. It's just I'm not sure about selling Mbumo. That's all I'd say. David 44 says, -4 hit to avoid starting a Southampton defender. I can buy a defender for 5 million. Thanks for a great channel. Yeah, I think it's worth it. I think there's a lot of routes you can go. If you want a Forest defender, Milenkovic, a Man United defender like Dallo or Mazraoui, a good pick. A Wolves defender against Southampton. You could go for Aït-Nouri or Semedo. So yeah, lots of good picks there. And I think, yeah, no one should have Southampton defenders in their team. Michael Murphy, love the content. Appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Ben North again, appreciate your help, mate. Listened to your podcast with FPL Raptor whilst at work this week and had to check you out. Thanks for the help, and we'll be checking in every deadline stream. Take care. Oh, Ben, really appreciate that message. Yeah, I was absolutely delighted to be on his podcast. I'm also a listener of the podcast, and when he messaged, he actually put out a tweet saying, oh yeah, anyone in London want to come onto the podcast, let me leave a little message below. And I left a message and it got more likes than his actual tweet did because I left a little CV below with my rank history and all the above. So yeah, I was delighted to get a spot on his podcast, and yeah, glad that it brought you to the channel, Ben. Yeah, cheers for coming to the live. Really appreciate it. 1111 says, up the Irish. Up the Irish. Let's go. Akshay Patil, is Foden starting? You know what? At this time of the stream, we have 10 minutes to go. Let's have a little look if there's any Man City team news. They are one of the teams that we get news on. Immediately we see that Haaland is starting. So there you go. That's one for you. Do we know about... let's go for FPL Tony. He always has Man City team news. Anything from him? Let's see. We haven't seen anything yet from him. So listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, that we have any confirmation when we don't. So yeah, sorry, we don't have any Foden news so far. But if I was a betting man, I would say Foden definitely plays. Yeah. Lead crew, rate the dedication, bro. Cheers. Oh, listen, happy to help you guys. Happy to help. I love doing this. Honestly, I love hopping on these live streams. So much fun chatting with you guys and trying to figure out all these benching decisions, transfer decisions. So yeah, happy to help, man. Adam Salin says, Onana over Raya. Yeah. I know a lot of the bookies are looking at, Arsenal as really heavy favourites over Chelsea. But Chelsea can always score. I wouldn't necessarily say the same for Leicester, And also on the flip side, Man United can always concede. Arsenal are obviously a better defence than Man United, but I just think that Leicester are a significantly worse attack than Chelsea. So I would start Onana over Raya. Hopefully that decision making makes sense to you, the thought process I've gone with there. Scott says, took a -4 to bring in Haaland. Love it, man. Love it. I wish I could do the same. Aiden Patel, Ait Nouri or Nico Williams? Oh, tough one. Yeah, I do like Nico Williams. Yeah, I would say so. Do like Nico Williams. But at the same time, would Wolves have a higher clean sheet odds than who am I talking about? Nottingham Forest even. Yeah, maybe I've talked myself out of it. I think Ait Nouri could be the one to go for there. Ait Nouri over Nico Williams, yeah. Final answer. George, keep up the good work, mate. Top content. Really appreciate it, George. Cheers for that. BKG, by the way, new subscriber here. Love it, man. Saw you from FPL Therapy. Good stuff. Cheers from Trinidad and Tobago. Man, good to have you here. Glad you watched that podcast. I had such a good time chatting with Ross. He's a legend. Like, what you see is what you get with him. He's a great man. Really good to have me on. Aiden Patel, Marmoush is starting. Okay, good news. This is the sort of info that we need, guys. Marmoush is starting. Cheers, bro. No, thank you to you. Thanks to you. All right, Juan Manuel Vasquez. Hi from Spain. I could have guessed as much with that name, Vasquez. Juan Manuel Vasquez. Very Spanish name. You go, hi from Spain. Already with 11 players. Took a -4 to sell Trent for which one? I mean, if you already have 11, it depends who your defender is. Like, if you have a Southampton defender or like, yeah, I would say a -4 to Trent. I don't know who your defense is, so I'll rattle off a few names. I would say I really like this week, Ait Nouri for Wolves. I would say Nico Williams or Milenkovic for Forest. Dallo or Mazraoui for Man United. Take a pick of that bunch, I would say. Offside Footy. That was an impressive podcast, mate. You should do your own sometime with some other top FPL creators. Yeah, you know what? It's something that's been playing on my mind a bit. Like, is that something that I would like to do at some point? Do a little podcast setup. I'm more than happy to be on people's podcasts for now. But yeah, I just think, maybe something to consider in the future. If you guys would be interested in that, could be the play. Martin says, Sells, Pickford or Nana? I would say Sells, yeah. You have Bowen. Nice, yeah, you have Bowen. So, yeah, not Pickford then. Yeah, Sells, I would say. Dev, bench Dango or Greaves? I'd bench Greaves there. Yeah, I'd bench Greaves. And just hope that Dango comes on and scores a goal. I know it's wishful thinking, but I do think it's very possible. I do think it's possible. Stephen Gill, Captain Haaland or Bruno? Has to be Haaland this game week. Has to be. George, thoughts on free hit 33 versus free hit 34? For me personally, I've always been a fan of free hitting on a blank game week, like this game week, or also just, I'll pull up my free hit team actually so you guys can keep an eye on that. That's my draft if you guys are interested. But yeah, George, I do really like free hit in 34. I see the idea of using free hit 33 so you can get just as many doublers as you possibly can. But I think it's probably more useful, probably the safer pick to go for a free hit 34. And I do like to play it relatively safe when it comes to those chip strategies. Matez Perusek says Erling, Bruno or Wood captain? Yeah, it has to be Erling Haaland for me. Has to be. If you own him, I'd be captaining him. Juan Manuel Vasquez, thank you. No, thank you, mate. Thanks for coming along. Mark Edwards, hi Stephen. Would you transfer a player in for Dango, only to transfer him out next week for a longer term transfer? Anyway, thank you. What I would say is maybe you could go for a midfielder that you want in the long term now. So like Dango, if you want to get rid of Dango now, get someone in that you want for the long term. Maybe I misunderstood your question slightly, but yeah, my answer to you would be get Dango out for someone that you want for the long term. Someone like a Kluivert, if you already have him. Semenyo, another Bournemouth mid. If you have Kluivert and don't want to double up on Bournemouth mids, Mark, maybe just go for like an Alanga or a Gibbs White. Yeah, some picks for you there, and I like all of them. So any of those would be a good transfer in for Dango. Wakaz Ahmed said, I have 6.6 in the bank and transferring Wink out. Nice. Who is the best option? Garnacho, Semenyo or Savinho, Gibbs White? I have Dango, Kluivert and Bumo. Yeah, I mean, if you already have Dango and Kluivert, I wouldn't go for Semenyo. I do like the Gibbs White pick out of the other ones. In fact, Alanga is another one you should consider as well. It's a toss-up between Gibbs White and Alanga for me. If you like Gibbs White, go for him. He's definitely a good transfer in this game week. FPL Hawk, Salah will punish sellers in game week 30. I'm here hoping, mate. I'm here hoping alongside you because I'm holding on to him. Dev, cheers, mate. No problem at all, Dev. Cheers for coming. Jeevan Gill, why bench Neto over Gabriel? Oof, you know what? It's a tough one. I just think it's one of those where I think Arsenal have a better chance of keeping a clean sheet than Chelsea have of scoring a goal. And I do not like the fact that I'm benching a striker who's a midfielder in FPL. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm like, who do I even bench in this team? Like, do I bench Castagne for Neto? Like, that makes more sense. But like, will Spurs score? They've been so poor recently, and Fulham are a great defence at home. I'm just going with my decision making and backing the fact that I have 2 Arsenal defenders, and I don't want to put 2 Chelsea attackers against 2 Arsenal defenders. So I'm backing the clean sheet for Arsenal there. Then the other question is, I have 2 Brentford attackers against Kirkez. So it's like, do I just bench Kirkez for Neto? And then it's the same situation happening over and over again. I do not know the route to take here. Maybe some advice. I could do with some advice on this one. Andrew, I have all chips available other than triple captain. Would you go Assman 36 and hope Spurs get a doubler? Wanted Assman 31, but going to be risky now, not knowing the layout in time and no transfers to move. Yeah, Andrew, I think you're on the ball there. I agree. I think going for Assman 36 and using your other chips, like, you're in a great spot. You have all your chips left. I think using the other chips to sort of navigate the rest of the all those tricky doubles, the tricky blanks, and saving your Assman for game week 36. That's a good play. Guys, just a quick heads up, there's less than 2 minutes left for the deadline, so lock those teams in. I'll try to answer a few more. Clay, Greaves and Dango, or -4 to play Williams? I just play Dango instead of a -4 to play Williams. Sohail, is your team ready? Deadline in 4 minutes, mate. Don't worry, Sohail, appreciate the comment. I've got it here. Not too sure about the bench that I've got. Maybe I should have set up a poll, but let me know, Sohail, what do you think? I know you're pretty engaged FPL manager. I would take out Castagno and put in Neto personally. Yeah, that's been playing on my mind all week. It's just, do Spurs score? You know what, Sohail? Because you sent that super chat in, I may back it. Should I go for the high upside for me is playing Castagne? I know that sounds ridiculous, but like, playing Castagne and hoping for a Spurs clean sheet, other than playing Neto and hoping that, he scores against Arsenal. Will Chelsea score against Arsenal? If he does, I'll look like an idiot, but maybe I just leave it as it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to regret that, and you can let me know when you comment on my video next. But yeah, I'm going to leave it as it is. Pieface, opinions on Xerxes 1 week punt? Yeah, I think a Man United attacker is a good 1 week punt. Yeah, makes the game more fun, doesn't it? Neto better than Castagne, lads. There's 2 of you have now said it. Shall I do it? Fuck it, I'll do it, lads. 2 of you have said it. I've gone with yous Offside Footy and Sohail. You 2 are absolute legends of the channel. I see you commenting on every video, and I see you on all the live streams. You've twisted it. You've twisted my arm. Yeah, fuck it. I'll start Neto. If Chelsea get a clean, if Chelsea score, hopefully it's one of them 2, and my Arsenal clean sheet will have been wiped out, but at least I'll know that I've got my team sorted. There we go, guys. Deadline has come in. Yeah, Sanjay Patel, Neto for sure. Yeah, I think I'm glad I did this live stream, because honestly, I just came back from the beach and I was like, let me just log on and do a quick live stream. And now you've convinced me to change my bench for the better. I would say for the better. My thought process there, just so I don't sound like an idiot, was, I didn't want to play double Chelsea attack against double Arsenal defense. I know it sounds silly, but now I guess that I have Neto in, it makes more sense. And to be honest, I've actually had Castagne on my bench all game week, just because I was like, I don't want to start double against Spurs. But then the more I looked into it, I was like, will Spurs score? Yeah, it's a double-edged sword there, but team's locked in now, so all I have to say is good luck. So Hale, good luck to you too, lad, and thanks very much again for the super chat. Offside Footy, haha, you're a risk, mate. No, you don't want to take any responsibility for it now. No, to be honest, it was a last-minute deadline move, and that's what FPL is all about, those last-minute risks. Like, I've gone for Evanilson over Wood, so I've already had a bit of a risky play this game week, and yeah. Listen, happy to be here. You guys want to stick around for a bit? I'm just chatting away. I'm not doing much else. So, yeah. Good to have you guys. Blank game week. It's a big one. For sure. So, yeah. you know what, guys? I will leave it there. It looks like a few guys are heading out now. So leave your comments down below. Say if you were here, if you're still here, feel free to say goodbye. I'll end the stream now in the next minute or two. So yeah, good luck to everyone this game week. Good luck on the blank. Sorry if I didn't get to all your questions. I tried my best to you know, to answer everyone. It's not easy, but yeah, I tried my best, and I'm really glad you guys come in and at least, you know, try to get all your comments in, and hopefully I'd answer most of you guys. I think I got through most of them, but yeah, glad to have done this deadline stream, and yeah, looking forward to this game week. Should be an interesting one. Ravinda, Captain Bruno since I'm chasing rank. Cheers from Sri Lanka. Oh man, lovely part of the world. Yeah, Ravinda, what a pick, Captain and Bruno. I love it. I mean, they play Leicester, so you know, I think you could be in for a good haul there. Same, Ravinda. Andrew, you also Captain Bruno. Nice one. Nice one. Yeah, cheers guys. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming to the deadline stream. Mark, top man, Stephen, good luck. Good luck to you too. I'll send a good luck into all of you guys here. So good luck this game week, everyone. And yeah, guys, thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you have a good weekend, not just in FPL, but in your life in general. There's more to life than FPL. Not for me, obviously, but for you guys, there is. Enjoy the beach, mate. Dev, okay, good man, good man. I'm going to head straight back to the beach. Heading straight back. Love it. All right, guys. Going to leave it there. Offside footy. Good luck, everyone. Cheers for coming along, lad. Cheers for coming along, guys. Have a good one. And yeah, hopefully some good scores from you this game week. Look forward to hearing from it.